speedrun this then. Where's my cup, man? Ey, wenn du so ein, kennst du diese Cups von McDonald's, die man so, diese Plastikdinger, unten blau, oben weiß? Diese hier in groß. Wenn du das irgendwo siehst, ja? In groß. Ja. Dann sag Bescheid, weil ich weiß nicht, jetzt irgendwie, falls du irgendwo siehst. Ja. Ja, alles kein Problem. Ja, ich streame jetzt nur. Kann sein, dass dann hier man das sehen kann, so ein bisschen. Deswegen. Ja, alles gut. Wollte ich nur sagen. Hi. Next attempt. Yeah, number 2. True. Attempt number 2 at streaming. Mr. Streamer is online. Hi. Do we do another Discord notification? Do we do another Discord notification? Streams? We did 2? Yes, we did 2. Abeb spot is good. Hello, my brothers. I don't think anyone's gonna join now, because it's literally like all over the place. But what matters is that we try, that we do stuff. All right, let's see here. So you guys did write something on general chat here. What is this? Europeans can save gaming. That's supposed to be a reaction, right? To 11 minutes. I mean it. 5 days ago, accused farms. The Europeans can save video games from being destroyed. The European Citizens Initiative has just launched. And represents the biggest and most ambitious chance to create a new law against publishers destroying games they have already sold to you. Get EU citizens to sign it. European Citizens Initiative, okay. Hello again. Hello Rames. How's it going, bro? Guys, I need to speedrun this because I could get called any second to pick them up again. It will take some time. I don't think it will be like, whoa, 2 streams in 1 day. Yeah, I'm speedrunning streaming career. True. Yes. Giga Streamer. Hello again. Hello Igor. My man, good morning. Oh yeah, we need to get rid of the follow bots. Wait. Yeah. Let me see. Load this again. Log in via Twitch. Hi Cakez, do you see my post and resources? I did not see your post and resources. If you can tell by the Discord notifications that I have, I'm quite laggy when it comes to this. I'm lagging behind. I'm working on this in the next couple of days. My wife won't be here. If everything is good with her, of course, we never know everything, but so I will have time to go through everything. Surrey bot is good for follow bot banning. Surrey bot, follow bot banning. Well, known bot accounts 111. We remove those. We have officially breached the 7,000 follow mark, guys. We are a 7K follower Andy now. We are approaching. You know what's funny? That my YouTube channel is actually, it was lagging behind for the longest time, but it started to overtake my follower accounts. Oh no, not my follower accounts. My followers on Twitch. It's really cool to see. We also have 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. Very proud of this. We finally reached that. That's awesome. What a milestone. I wonder if I'll be able to get to 10K this year. That would be so cool, you know, being a 10K Andy on YouTube. That is awesome. And then maybe the year after that, we try to get to 15K. That would be nice, you know. By the end of the year after that, 15K, damn, you know, that would be awesome. Just wanted to share a thought. Timo, you use some of your faces for the thumbnails a bit too repetitive. 6 out of 12 thumbnails contained the same picture. Just wanted to point that out. Yes, it is something that I had to do because of time constraints. But if you want to know exactly what I have, I could show you, you know, why not? I mean, why not? You know, it's been a hectic day. Let's kick back a little bit. Let me show you here, sir. Von jetzt in einer Stunde. Okay, so it's about an hour of time is what we have, my brothers. Let's see. So open recent. You know what? I'm just gonna open this here. It's easier. I have recorded myself with different faces. I have to do the different faces. Oh, let me just show you. Faces, me PSB. I think it was me PSB. Was it this one here? We've got an hour today. Yeah, I have a bunch of faces. That I could still go for. I went through them. I just didn't have time to edit them. Or to edit them. Like, I think this one is the one we did. Oh, wait, this one here, yeah. Where's the nails face? This one's also good, yeah. I have quite a few. Still need to do them. It takes time to draw them, you know. Anyways, let's just move on. Okay, so let's watch this. Let's speedrun this today. Europeans can save gaming, my brothers. Can they actually save gaming? I don't think they can. What should a petition, like, what would a petition do? But let's see, maybe I'm just a negative anti. Hello, Jörn Games on YouTube. There's bots that follow you? Why bots follow you? I don't know why some people follow bot you. I don't know. I don't see an advantage in the current category that I'm in. Why should I get follow botted? I never understood this ever. And so I've been removing them mercilessly to make sure that I have only real follower accounts. Maybe that's the reason. But I don't know. Maturing fake accounts for later sale, I guess. You think? But look at the names, man. These are not even real names. See this? It's just some mumbo jumbo.
Hi, I'm Ross. For the past several months, I've been working on a campaign to stop the destruction of video games.
Yeah?
See, most video games work indefinitely, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But more and more are being designed to stop working the second support ends from the publisher. A kill switch, essentially.
Okay.
It's a form of planned obsolescence.
I think that only works on live service games. I think he's talking about live service game. If you buy a single player game, Pirate Software did a good response for this. Yeah, really? I should watch that later then too. So my idea is, if you buy a single player game, it is a single player game and it should be finished. So like, what should the publisher, this publisher has nothing to do with this. Pirate Games and Primogen didn't like this plan. Yeah, let's see.
Publishers are destroying games they've already sold to you, but keeping your money. And this is all preventable. Some people don't understand.
Sorry, I missed that then. Let me see.
A kill switch, essentially. It's a form of planned obsolescence, where publishers are destroying games they've already sold to you, but keeping your money.
How?
And this is all preventable. Some people don't understand that. I've compared this before to studios from a century ago burning their own films after they were done showing them to recover the silver content. And now most films of that era are gone forever. That's...
Wait, what? Sorry, Hello, Peter, my man. Good morning. How's it going, my brother? Sorry, I missed that again.
And this is all preventable. Some people don't understand that. I've compared this before to studios from a century ago burning their own films after they were done showing them to recover the silver content. And now most films of that era are gone forever. That's...
Wait, okay. So they burned their own films to recover their silver content. I see. So that they could keep making films because it was a resource. And now the films are gone forever and we cannot watch them anymore. And no one had the ability to like record them because it wasn't invented yet.
Very similar to what's happening to video games.
But you can't destroy a video game
Today. It's just a terrible practice for everyone involved.
You can't destroy a video game. You can always get it. Like, if at least you can pirate the game. I don't understand.
Most of my efforts have gone towards challenging the legality of this practice in various countries.
How?
Because it's so consumer hostile, it's not clear if what's going on is even legal.
Okay.
That's still ongoing. But now we have a new option, proposing new law. And for the entire European...
Yes, you can with live service. Yeah, that's what I said in the beginning. You can only do this with live service games. You can't do this with a single player game. People will always upload this to be pirated. It just doesn't work. So it has to be a live service game like League of Legends, Overwatch, Overwatch 2, you name it, Dota.
To get put together and processed. Yeah. But now we have a European Citizens Initiative devoted to halting the destruction of video games. You can read it yourself. This would require publishers to leave games they have sold to customers in a working state at the time of shutdown, without requiring any further connection to them or affiliated parties for the games to function. How they would do this would be up to them. This would also apply to free-to-play games that contain microtransactions.
It requires video games sold to the customers to be in a reasonably working state at the time of shutdown / end of support. But how you're supposed to do that? You need servers to run, let's say, a live service game. That doesn't even work. Like, there's not going to be money that comes out of thin air. Play WoW offline, yeah. Like, how are you going to play World of Warcraft offline? I mean, yes, there's private servers, but that's not like the company's doing. Blizzard doesn't do private servers. Prohibit any requirements for video games sold to customers to connect to the publisher or affiliated parties after the support ends. What does prohibit mean? I'm not natively English. I don't know what the word means. Prohibit. English. Meaning, German. Prevent. Verbieten. Aha. Sorry, I need to do that. Like, I'm not natively English. Sorry about this. So forbidden any requirements or prohibit any requirements for video games sold to the customer to connect to the publisher. So essentially you're not, if you want to connect to some other, I don't know, server to play the game, you should be able to do that essentially. So you should, let's say you buy World of Warcraft, you can now connect to a private server and play World of Warcraft, to a custom server. That is your private, like in Minecraft, essentially. But yeah, you build your own server. Require the above also apply to video games that sell game assets or features, microtransactions to customers. So essentially the game's free, but they make money with microtransactions and... Yeah, this is a great idea, but it just won't work. There's like, you need money to run these. Where's the money gonna come from? Like, it feels like they're taking money out of the equation. Just do it. I haven't seen the Pirate Software video on it, but some of the points made later on got me thinking it is worded a bit weirdly. Well, okay, so like reading it like this. Doesn't make much sense, at least when we're talking about live service games. Single player games don't. So what I get from this is, let's say we play a single player game and we are required to connect to the internet, to the publisher, to whatever, in order to play that game. I can go behind that, because you don't need to go and connect to a server to play a freaking single player game, play alone. Elden Ring. I get that. Okay, I can go behind that. But a live service game where you're meant to play with other people? No. No, that makes no sense. Because who's gonna pay the servers? I'm not gonna pay the servers. And the government is not gonna pay the servers. If the government is paying the servers, then we are paying the servers. So we're still paying, which means higher taxes. That makes no sense.
Because if you purchased a microtransaction as a good, then the game is made unplayable. Well, then you just lost your goods. This would not require publishers to give up any of their intellectual property rights, give up their source code, though that one would still be nice. It wouldn't require endless support. They can end it any time they want as far as we're concerned. It wouldn't need to host servers. Though they would have to either patch out that requirement or else allow customers to host them privately.
So essentially what that would mean is, if the support ends, they can't pay the servers anymore. A third party, let's say I myself, I have a server. I could go host the server and people can connect to my server now. I think that doesn't work, man. Because now I'm responsible for the entire data that's going through the server. How is that gonna work? I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not a big tech guy when it comes to this. I'm not a big internet security guy, but I feel like it's not as easy as it sounds, you know, because there's data you're connecting to the server and stuff. Write all your shit, write your shit architecture so that it can be a clean cut 10 years down the line and prevent a lot of smaller game devs from making online games. True, yeah, smaller game devs will be hit with this the most, exactly, because now they have to worry about supporting a game indefinitely in a weird way. You're not? I feel like this is a bit toxic. It will take about 18 minutes to react. Okay, see you later, brother. Bitch. Okay, let's move
Assume
on.
any liability for what customers do with their copies of games. And finally, nothing about...
Wait, require publishers to assume. Does assume mean... To assume responsibility? German. Verantwortung übernehmen. Wait, so the publisher is held reliable... No, it's not held reliable. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Because now I'm hosting the server. No, I'm held reliable. Okay. Interfere with business... Like, get rid of this. Interfere with business practices in any way while the game is still being supported. They don't have to interfere.
This initiative would have any impact on publisher business practices while the game is being supported. In other words, publishers can continue doing whatever they want as long as you get to keep your game. It amazes me when some people say that's going too far in favor of the consumer. Though to be fair, that's probably not most Europeans.
So, okay, well, now that we have the full picture of what it actually means. I think the issue is here. Hosting the server. A third party hosting the server and the liability. I think this is where bots can happen. This is where cheating can happen. I think it will destroy the game. And on top of that, yeah, like the data, cheating, and potentially harmful stuff happening, and now a third party is reliable for that, held reliable. Who's gonna tell me that they will actually be held reliable? It could be like some server in Russia and you can't actually get to them, right? I don't know about this, man. Like, could be some shady third party. So, like, this is where I see the problem. Responsible is the word you want. Held reliable, held liable, held responsible then. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, thank you. Some games already allow hosting custom servers. Yeah, like Minecraft, for example. In
favor of the consumer. Though to be fair, that's probably not most Europeans.
Okay.
The idea here is we're just trying to stop games from being destroyed. That's it. So we're taking as narrow an approach as possible.
Sorry, but I just got followed by boring, dumb React content, which is literally collector of stuff with a different account to be more negative in chat. Just
It still solves the problem. If we get enough signatures, then this goes before the European Union to be considered as new law. Now, if you're on board with this, you don't have to keep watching. You can go sign it right now. But wait, before you do, you have one chance to do this right. It's not hard, but if you make a mistake, your signature is invalidated and you don't get another chance.
Okay.
We've made guides at stopkillinggames.com on how to do this, just in case. But is this as simple as people sign this and it becomes law in the EU?
Am I just a fucking idiot? Or... It doesn't sound too bad of an idea. But I wonder what, like, veterans in the field think about this, like, that have more info than me. Because I'm purely talking from the perspective of a gamer. And I'd be interested in hearing what Asmongold thinks about this. And then you guys told me that Pirate Software talked about this too. I'd be interested to hear what but if there's like a disconnect between someone who has been behind the scenes and someone who's been in front of the screen all the time, like a gamer. Because I'm I'm like somewhere in between. I'm like a game developer, but I've not been in the field long enough. I've been a gamer my entire life, but like I'm shifting in between the two the entire time. Trust our Bruno. So I can't read that. Holy shit.
Yeah, it might be. Now, it's not a guarantee, but I think if we get the signatures...
You should try to save us, Alan. Hey, that's negative, bro. Leave him alone. Bureaucrats? Oh, I see.
This passes. Why do I say that? Well, it's a few factors. Politicians like easy wins, and this doesn't require them to do much at all. And unless it involves gambling or protecting children, politicians generally don't care about video games.
I think now he's trying to convince me to sign it, right? And why it will pass. Okay.
So this isn't of big consequence to them or most of their constituencies. EU law is already unclear on a lot of this practice anyway, and we would be making it easy for them to settle it. It falls in line with other consumer practices. You know, how when you buy something, you're generally allowed to keep it?
See, like, I'm agreeing with this fact. If I buy a game, I should be able to play the game. So, for example, what I'm very sad about, and that might be like a weird take, I'm so sad that I can't play Diablo 3, the original version, the fucked up version. The auction house is a money-making machine. The Torment, I think it was Torment or Hell. I think it was Torment, right? Torment was impossible to beat game. I can't play that anymore, but I want to play it. I would play this right now if I could. Because it's, for me, it is a better game than the later part of Diablo 3. Because in that version of the game, not only were uniques very rare items were commonplace in your build. And so you had like a mix of those items, and every item you would pick up was like a, oh damn, I just got a yellow item, and that was cool. I like that. It was a lot of grinding, but I like it.
And finally, this is a diversion from really serious topics that politicians would prefer not to deal with. This would let them stay busy and avoid hard stuff. In fact, I would bet if we can clear the signature threshold, this passes into law and we solve the problem 90% or more. I say 90% because this would only impact the EU. Yeah. So if a game was released only in China or Japan, yeah, this wouldn't save those. But most video games are sold globally, and the EU is part of that. Once it's a requirement that companies have to let you keep the games they sold to you in a major market like that, I think it spreads, whether it's the law elsewhere or not. Now, unfortunately, what I would not bet on, because it's a huge unknown, is whether we can pass that signature threshold to begin with. In order for this to work, we need 1 million signatures across.
Okay, let's see. How many do they have? Link to the initiative. How many do they have? Registered. Yeah, okay. Collection ongoing. How many do they have? Supported threshold percentage. Can you see the entire? They have 181,000. Sorry about this. I'm literally screaming at you right now. There you go. You can see this pattern right now. Okay. Let's see. We scroll down here. Looks like they have 181,000. So they have 1/5 of the voices. And I mean, the video is only 5 days old. So 5-6 days old. Okay.
Across the EU. Though really, it's more than that.
Okay.
Because some are going to be invalidated because who knows why. So really, we need more like 1.2 or 1.3 million signatures. Oh, and it gets worse because you need certain minimum thresholds per country for it to pass.
Oh my God.
So say somebody signs it in Greece. Well, then we need almost 15,000 more Greeks to sign it. Otherwise, none of the Greek signatures count.
Statement on
that
line
rule
1.
strikes me as rather obtuse and awkward. I almost wonder if the EU took a page from the United States for that one. Anyway, that's a lot of signatures. I might be delusional for attempting this. I don't know yet. Now, the good news is we have 1 year to get them all. So
Okay,
we
that's
will
a
have
long time.
time.
Yeah.
Although I'll say right now, there is no way I can get that many Europeans just from my audience. The only way this works is by reaching out to European YouTubers and
No, like, yeah, but listen, so Asmongold watched it. He has a European audience for sure. If Pirate Software watched it and made a video about it, he has a European audience. And then Mr. Prime too, like, yeah, it's got to, like, there's a lot of eyes on it already.
streamers and so on to get on board. And non-English
Are you going to sign the thing? I don't know.
Now, I'll do my part and promote this the best I can, but I have limited reach. In fact, since I've started Stop Killing Games, I want to say everyone I've reached out to never responded. So me reaching out doesn't work. It's a total failure rate.
People don't respond.
However, there are two things that did work. One is people reaching out to me, since I respond to a lot. And two is people just covering this on their own. That really worked. Which means if you're watching this, you may be a critical link in all this. Because you can tell other YouTubers, streamers, etc. about this initiative, and maybe they'll pick it up. And again, it's even better if their core audience is non-English speaking. The number of native English speakers in the EU is relatively small.
So he's going over
we
the
need to connect
requirements
the dots
now.
in
I
other
think
language that the official spokesperson and backup spokesperson for the initiative have offered to speak on this also. And speaking of eligibility, it's pretty simple. You need to be a citizen of an EU country, though you don't have campaigning for Europeans to sign a document. But you know what? If it passes, we all win. So we just have to go to where the openings are. Oh, and if your relatives or whoever don't care about video games, you can explain to them this is also about not losing basic ownership. Like if video games are cars,
Cakez is the
what's
critical
happening
link.
now would be like if I sold you a car at full price, then later, and I wouldn't tell you how much later, so it's not a rental, I then came to your house and repossessed your car. But I also kept your money. That is not good.
I mean, it is kind of what happens with these live service games. And so, like, again, I see the issue with the server data. They would have to program this in, which will also take development cost and time. It costs money to pay the people that do that and time to do that. And then cheating would be big. Yeah, and who's gonna held responsible for what happens there? Especially when you have high competitive games, PvP games. It's essentially renting a game, yeah. So, to be honest, I don't think it's that bad. Now, I would like to see the reaction of Pirate Software to this. Do you have a link for that? I've seen a few links earlier, but I need to see a link. I need to see a link to what he says. Or like, is there no YouTube video out for this yet? Trusting European politics after we got Leon for a second time now. I can't.
Hello,
Blabbering, Stacker, why does he speak like an NPC? This is another React video. I'm gonna actually time you out on YouTube too. I will put you in timeout for 5 minutes on YouTube, Mr. Collector of Stuff. Cakez, Louis Rossmann has a good reaction to Pirate Software's reaction. I mean, why not just go Stop Killing Games? 15 minutes? Why is it such a long thing? And people really didn't like that much. Wow, I mean, it is extrapolated, of course. People didn't like Pirate Software's take on it. But I guess Stop Killing Games is in the trash. So, like, here's what I think is happening with these downvotes. I think people often react with their feelings instead of with their brain. While the take of Stop Killing Games is a good take, in your feelings, I want to buy a game, and therefore I bought a game, and therefore I should keep it the entire time. There's more to it than that, and so we should explore all avenues, not only the avenue of the gamer. But that being said, I am a gamer too, and if I pay money for a game and then I can't play the game anymore, that fucking sucks, bro. I still remember paying for a game called Rift. This is the game, Rift. I bought this game. There you go. And I can't play the original version anymore. And the biggest thing that pissed me off was that after some time, the game went free to play. So I spent time and money in the game, and people could just join later on and play it for free. That pissed me off. Because why the fuck did I buy the game? Why the fuck did I spend 50, 60 euros and some other person could just... I bought the original Rift 2 Cakez. Yeah, oh, I thought it would be a good game, yeah. And then it went free to play because, you know, it started dying. All right, let's see. So here's that's what I think. Let's see what Mr. Pirate Software has to talk about it. It's a bit long, so I might watch this in twice the speed. Okay, so we're gonna speed run this.
Hi, my name is Jason Thorhall, also known as Pirate Software Online. I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment, then Amazon Game Studios, and now I own my own studio, Pirate Software, by the same name, it's an indie studio. I've been here for about 8 years.
Sorry, I'm like in front of him directly. Sorry, I'm covering Mr. Pirate Software, Mr. Thor. I'm gonna put you guys on the corner so that you behave. And I'll move myself here, so I take a look at it. Okay? Let's see. Let's move on. Give him a kiss? No, you guys are gonna clip that. If I give him a kiss, you guys are going to clip this. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay.
We're a massive community. We've got 180,000 people in Discord, and most of what I do is try to teach other people how to make games, teach them that they can make games, show them the tools to do so, and try to do everything without any paywalls or bullshit in the way. It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games, and that the next generation has the tools to do so their medium doesn't die out. And it never will. And that's the whole intention of all of this. So that in mind, that community brought me this, and tried to get me to sign it. And I don't want to. Number one, I can't because I don't live in Europe. But number two, I wouldn't sign it even if I could. I'm going to kind of go through this and try to explain the reasoning as to why that would be the case. Without all of the internet hate machine that's grown up around it. So let's go into how this works and why this is an issue today. First things first, what is an initiative? So an initiative is actually not law. It is something that you put together so you can put it up in front of representatives and they can start the conversation. The reason why I have a problem with Stop Killing Games is specifically it starts the wrong conversation. If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single player experience, and then taking away support in the future, this ain't it. And the reason why is specifically on this initiative, under its own description.
So like, what I think is... Like another take on this. Now, because he's defined it a bit more. Okay, so he's talking about a live service game that has a single player experience. I would be okay with the online part completely dying off because they can't pay the servers anymore. They can't support the game anymore. But let me play the single player campaign on my own. Let me play it offline. Why not? Why should I not be able to play it offline? Why should that not be a law? Because I don't see an issue. There's no server costs. There's no person that like has to balance the game anymore. If anything, maybe that can be done with mods. And I can keep my game. Like, listen, like it's a single player game. Let me play the game, bro. Like, I want to play. You know? That would be cool. So like, because he said single player, that has a single player experience in it. So there's a part where you play alone. The campaign video guide talked about the publishers having to release the server binaries. Why? Release the server binaries. A single player game should be its own thing. Or maybe they programmed it in a way, but no, I'm not talking about hosting a server. Yeah, I totally agree that hosting a server is an issue. But I'm talking about a single player experience in a single player game. Releasing server binaries equals massive cheats day one for their next game. Guys, I'm talking about the single player experience. Or is it connected? Is it connected to the binaries? Is it connected? Are the server binaries connected to the single player in a way where they can't be separated? Isn't that like coupling and coding that you shouldn't do? Shouldn't like companies do decoupling? In some games they are. Reacting to pirate software. I'm gonna ban this guy. Fuck you. I'll ban you for the entire day. See you tomorrow. Okay. I'm trying to inform myself here. Okay. This guy is toxic. Yeah. I just did that. I did. Oh snap! Yeah. Collector stuff's gone. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So that's my take. What does he say?
Says this initiative calls to require publishers that sell or license video games to consumers in the European Union or related features and assets sold for video games they operate to leave said video games in a functional playable state.
Yeah.
Specifically, the initiative seeks to prevent the remote disabling of video games by the publishers before providing reasonable means to continue functioning of said video games without the involvement inside the publisher. This isn't always possible in all video games, and it doesn't call out the specific practice that this is supposedly trying to defeat. It is incredibly vague and will damage all live service games. How would you?
I think that's my point too. Like, you can't keep a live service game alive that is purely reliant on online play. No one's playing it, first and foremost, and then who's going to pay the servers? Like, yeah.
Keep League of Legends in a functional playable state. You have to re-architect the entire game. The game is what is called client-server. So the client-server model.
I watched you earlier. I watched you the other day for a bit, and you banned the same guy then too. Yeah. This guy is farming bans. Whenever we click on his profile picture in the Twitch and then see his Twitch messages, there's going to be 999 timeouts.
There's a server, and there's a client, and all of the math, all of the game, everything happens on the server. The client just displays it. And the reason we want to do it that way is so that you can't teleport around and do a billion damage. You don't trust the client. You trust the server. The client just displays what it's
that's true.
Right? So if we want to re-architect this, we have to take all of that server logic, push it back out into the client, and somehow make that playable in a multiplayer-only video game. That doesn't make sense to me. So this isn't going to work for all games. Why is it calling out all games? And it's really easy to say, like, oh, that'll get worked out down the line. But we're dealing with government here. If we're going to be putting up these types of ideas, specifically in front of government, we need to be calling out the right.
Sure, and then we have like multiple years of this happening, and then you can't make a live service game in Europe anymore. That's actually a smart point. I think people just don't understand his point. His point is that in order to make you not cheat, the entire logic of the game is on the server, and then the client is just, yep, give me the data, please. True. Smart. True.
Issues, especially if you don't have precedent set, because now you're going to be setting precedent on something that doesn't make any sense.
However, if you have a single-player game, that shouldn't go through a server, that should go to your local machine. That should run on your local machine, and that should not be disabled, because you should still be able to play that single-player part. That's the one that I don't like.
Understand the nuance of our industry, all in the name of saving games. I can't agree with that. So let's go into why this is happening, right? So why did this start in the first place? What is the specific cases they called out that are egregious? And they have one. It's The Crew. So action on The Crew. The video game The Crew, published by Ubisoft, was recently destroyed for all players and had a player base of at least 12 million people. Due to the game's size and France's strong consumer protection laws, this represents one of the best opportunities to hold a publisher accountable for this action. If we're successful in charges being pressed against Ubisoft, this can have a ripple effect on the video games industry to prevent publishers from destroying more games. First off, I don't like the idea in this that it has a player base of 12 million people. That is not how long-running games work. There is a large number of people that buy the game, and that player base slowly dwindles off until nobody is playing anymore. If there's any cost associated with keeping the game online, which this was an online video game, then eventually it costs more to keep it online than it does to...
I wonder where that 12 million comes from. Shouldn't you to be like, we have to look at this critically, right? Hopefully he points this out. If they say 12 million, like, where's this number coming from? Because they are making it seem like it's a little bit deceptive. If you read this, if you're not paying attention, they're making it seem like there's 12 million players online, monthly, weekly, yearly, that play the game. 12 million is a high number. Where's that number coming from? Where are the sources here? There's no sources to this. It's just a number. Now you have to believe them.
Keep running it, right?
Shows
so
the actual numbers later on.
Okay. There are bad business practices that can occur in there. There are companies that will sell a online-only game as a single-player experience and kind of just put it into the TOS and hide it. But not all companies do that. When they do, we should be calling out that specific company, not all companies. So let's take a look at this and find out more about The Crew itself. And if we pull up their Wikipedia, we can see that The Crew was actually created in 2014, which, much to the hatred of all of us oldies on the internet, was 10 years ago. Oh. So this was an online-only racing video game developed by Ubisoft Ivory Tower and Ubisoft Reflections and published by Ubisoft. So all Ubisoft, right? With that in mind, it's
Right, so he goes there, but not everyone goes there. Like, he shows the numbers, but I'm talking about the petition showing the numbers. The petition should be the one that is bringing you the beweise in English, the proof.
that it was a scaled-down recreation of the contiguous United States and included both role-playing and large-scale multiplayer elements. So it had a massive multiplayer component to it. It is an online-only service-based game, and they shut it down 10 years later. On March 31st, 2024, Ubisoft shut down the game servers, rendering the game unplayable, which is normal for live service games. The only thing that I can see in here that could be a problem is if they posted as not an online-only experience. But everything that I found online shows that the game was always marketed as online-only. If you're going to be buying an online-only game, that means it can only run when it's online. And if the servers need to shut down in the future, far in the future, it makes sense to me for the access to that game to be cut if it's online-only. If it's a single-player experience that has online-only functionality specifically just to shut down the game in the future, and the online-only doesn't actually add any gameplay functionality, I agree with you. That's a shitty business practice. That's really rare. And
yeah, we agree. That's true. That sucks. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so, yeah, right.
The specific cases where it does happen, we should call out that, not just all games and not all live service games. Further, there's more context to this too. The Crew itself came out in 2014, but it actually had a sequel that came out in 2018, and then it had another sequel that came out in 2023. And if we go to the Crew's SteamDB, which again is not going to be all of the player base for this, it's only going to be the ones who were playing it through Steam. It was
One player right now, this one guy's racing against himself, man. He's trying to beat his time, and he just can't do it, man. He's been doing this for 23 hours. He's been trying to farm this one
my name is Jason Paul, also known as Pirate Software Online.
Sorry. God, one player, man. People are saying that 12 million are playing the game, bro. Like, come on. Obviously, they're gonna shut this down. Like, why are you even mad about this? This makes no sense. Oh, this is funny, man. It's collector of stuff, yeah. This is so funny, man. Oh my god, and one guy is trapped in the racing matrix. Oh my oh, that is awesome. Okay, let's move on. Good.
Multiple platforms. We look at Max here. It did start out with a sizable amount of community, and then it degraded. And it had a major drop-off in 2018, which is the same year that it launched a sequel. This is normal. When a sequel comes out, a lot of the player base, if the sequel doesn't suck, will move over to it. And then the servers effectively die. You can't run a live service game on this few players. You can't,
you can.
Most of the time, especially not if there's anything else that goes into it. And if we go into that anything else, and we can see that there's license problems. So on December 14, 2023, Ubisoft delisted the crew and its expansions from digital platforms, suspended sales and microtransactions, and announced that the game servers would shut down on March 31st. So they gave them 3 months. Usually I would say, hey, 6 months is probably a better deal, but if they're going to do 3 months, they're going to do 3 months. The only thing that I'd be interested outside of that is if there was a contractual obligation to do more than 3 months and they didn't follow it, if it was in the terms of service or not. Citing upcoming server infrastructure and licensing constraints. What were those licensing constraints? Well, it turns out that all of the cars in the game were licensed from the car companies, and a 10-year running game likely means that they had licensed them for 10 years, and that means it would like...
Wait, so you have to pay a license to put a car in your game? To make it look like an actual real car? I mean, it makes sense. So Mercedes wants you to pay the money if you display a Mercedes in your game. Interesting. I didn't know that. For brands, I guess, yeah, you put a Mercedes logo on it. I don't know if you're allowed to make the same model, but you put, like, instead of a Mercedes star, you put Patrick star on it. Then it's just a Patrick's. You know, it's not the same car. What are you talking about? We have a different type of star here, bro. You know, like, I don't know if that's allowed, but yeah, okay.
Reopen for negotiation. I understand that's speculation, but I've seen this type of deal many times in the industry while I've been working it. So it's not unlikely. If you're going to have to renegotiate on a game that has so few players and is not turning a profit anymore, you're probably just going to forgo the renegotiation. And if those servers are aging, you're not going to want to recreate that infrastructure. And there are some people who say, well, just make it all single player. Well, I've explained that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single player, you have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. When you already have sequels out and the game has basically no players left anyway,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't find that to be a problem from the developer perspective, and I understand that people find that to be a problem from the player perspective. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it because I understand the burden that puts if we raise that problem.
Yeah, because in
the way that we are.
Maybe, like, okay, so but their idea is that we don't want the publisher to turn this into a single player. We don't want the publisher to keep on running the servers. We want the publisher, but maybe he goes into this, to give us the ability to host our own servers, to our own servers, so that we can host the game, and then other people, we can invite them to play with us. That's the idea. That's what they want to do.
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not run one at all, then no one's going to run them. And we're going to miss out on adventures like Final Fantasy XIV. And even if I don't play anymore, League of Legends, or any other live service game, any of them. You're talking everything, even phone games, as funny as that is. A lot of people don't realize that phone games require online-only activity. What about things like Pokemon Go? What about stuff like Monster Hunter Now? What about any of these? We'd never get any of them. And that's why I think this needs to not be vague. It needs to be specific about the business practices, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay.
That's what I think so too. Mostly like the single-player experience. So, like, for example, let's take Diablo 3. Diablo 3, in my opinion, might be a hot take, but you should be able to play this completely offline. Single player, you can never interact with anyone online if you don't want to. You can, like, let's say you play only offline. You cannot ever join an online game with your character, but you should be able to play the story, the game, everything on your local machine, because you bought the game to play that experience. You also bought the online experience, but it goes both ways. You can play it online, you can play it offline. That's my opinion. And so if, let's say, the Diablo servers, the Blizzard, just dies off, which will never happen, but let's, live in a dream world, they die, I would still want to play Diablo 3. I spent like $100 on the game. Again, it's gone, I can't play this anymore. Like, come on, that would be stupid. And having a law that prevents them from completely shutting this down, I think that would be nice, But a game that is purely online, it's difficult because, like, people could argue that this is an online game.
That's the problem. So now we're gonna
go. Okay, alles klar. Ich brauche kein Essen, alles gut, ich esse viel später. Ist kein Problem. Na klar. Vielen Dank. Das für euch, ne?
Ja, aber das ist für dich.
Achso, ja, zusätzlich im Kühlschrank. Vielen Dank.
go to Ross, otherwise known as the Chris Farms, the creator of this initiative, and one of the ones that's pushing it the most online. I'm going to let him say exactly why he thinks that this will go through very easily and why it is important, and then I'm going to tell you why I don't agree with it.
Comes law in the EU? Yeah, it might be. Now, it's not a guarantee, but I think if we get the signatures, this passes. Why do I say that? Well, it's a few factors. Politicians like easy wins, and this doesn't require them to do much at all. And unless it
I think this was a little bit. When I heard this, it was like, I don't
involves
know.
gambling or protecting children, politicians generally don't care about video games. So this isn't a big consequence to them or most of their constituency.
I'm going to stop it there for a moment. The assertion that politicians just like easy wins, this legislation will go through, but the politicians don't care about a multi-billion-dollar global industry and that it doesn't matter to their constituencies is incredibly absurd to me. I don't think this is the right direction at all for a movement like this. I think it's incredibly damaging and it makes our entire industry look bad, both on the player side and the developer side. If we're going to be putting forward anything that may eventually turn to legislation, it should be passing because it's the right thing to do for consumers and developers, and there's some kind of middle ground, not just because it's an easy win and politicians don't care. This sets us off on
that's true.
EU law is already unclear on a lot of this practice anyway.
And that's dangerous. If we're going to be setting precedent, which could change the way that law works all the way down the road, then we need to be sending the right
this
message.
needs to be
This
more
isn't a
clear.
fake message.
He's
It doesn't
right.
cover the actual problem. So this is not a win to me. This is a
Sorry
huge
about
risk.
this, guys. I'm being called. Yes. Ja, hallo? Ja, ich bin in ungefähr 20 Minuten da. Ja, kann ich machen. Alles klar. Gut. Ja, bis später. Bis gleich. Ja, ja, mache ich. All right. Let's continue here.
And we would be making it easy for them to settle it. It falls in line with other consumer practices. You know how when you buy something, you're generally allowed to keep it?
In the case of live service games, in the terms of service for those, you are not buying the game. You're buying a license to the game. And that's the part that's really different here. If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms. But if we're into this weird idea that we need to get rid of all live service games or damage that practice in any way to keep in line with consumer policies, it is in line with consumer policies. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be there in the first place. So this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. You're not buying the game, you're buying a license to the game. In the niche cases where a studio is trying to sell a game as if you are buying it or purchasing it or using that language specifically and they give you a live service game instead, I agree that should change. That language should change.
So what do you guys think when you bought Diablo 3 or Diablo 4? Let's not so much talk about Diablo 4 because they changed the agreement. When you bought Diablo 3, did you buy the game did you buy a license to play the game? Or did you buy the game to play the story? Single player story. I rented it. It's difficult to say. I bought Diablo 3, I think, so I could play together with my friend. I wanted to play with my friend, but I also wanted to play the story. And it was popular, of course. It's difficult to say here.
You are not purchasing the game. You're not buying the game. You are paying to have a license to a live service experience. I get that. Is that what this is doing, though? The initiative is not trying to call that out.
So, like, a gamer would say, like, he's completely wrong here. I bought the game. I want to play the game. I don't give a shit about the license. This is a difficult question to answer, you know? Let's say someone buys a live service game, the crew game, and he bought that to race in the game. He bought the game. For him, he bought the game, okay? He's just a gamer, some dude that wants to race cars. You know, the one dude that's still racing right now, you know? He's still racing to this point, okay? He's playing the game. He doesn't care about any of the multiplayer shit.
It's trying to say that all games need to stay in a functional, playable state, which is not calling out the language that is being used to manipulate the player. Call that out specifically, not this fake bullshit.
And finally, this is a diversion from really serious topics that politicians would prefer not to deal with.
That's really gross to me as well. The idea that this is just a diversion from serious topics and they can get an easy win in and we can just push it through and won't be a lot of pushback on it. You're not going to have to think about it too hard. That's crazy dangerous, dude. If you're going to be setting precedent, if you're going to be putting forward something that you want to start a conversation to eventually become legislation, and these are the reasons for it, not only can I not agree with the initiative, but I can't agree with you. And I think that the tactics that you're using here are really disgusting. So yes, I won't agree with that. And I won't agree with Ross. There's no way around that. I think this is gross. To sum it all up, no, I will not be supporting the initiative Stop Killing Games. I'm not going to change my mind on it because I find this language to be incredibly vague and damaging to the rest of our industry. I think that it would be bad for both
Would
developers
need to
and
be
players
more
down the line in the way it is currently written. And I think the starting conversation, if it doesn't get to the core of the issue, is both wasted time and leads to potentially bad outcomes. So if we want to talk about this, let's talk about the actual bad business practices. In the case that a studio is making a live service game and they sell it to you as a product, they say that you are purchasing the game or you are buying the game, when in reality you're actually purchasing or buying a license to that game. I think that we should be fighting about that. That needs to go away. A player should be well informed at the point of purchase that they are purchasing a license, not buying a game. And the reason that we have those licenses in the case of client-server interactions that we had before, we're talking about client-server games, is so that they can ban you when you cheated them. They revoke your license. That's why they revoke your license, to protect the gameplay of every other player that you're impacting when you cheat at these games. That needs to exist, but it needs to be better informed to the player at time of purchase. So I agree on that.
Can you guys get banned in Diablo 3? You can, right? So you bought a license to the game. That answers my question.
This doesn't bring that up, though. It just attacks all video games that have online-only
game
components and says that they need to keep being able to be played indefinitely. That doesn't make any sense to me. Aside from that, a lot of people really like live service games as they exist now. So trying to kill off all live service games, as some people have said online, doesn't make any sense either. Live service games are a great way to get away from the real world. They're about social interaction between players. Some people get married in them. Some people met their spouse in them and then got married in them. It's a really cool thing for a point in time in which you're having that social experience. And to destroy that just because you don't like them is very weird. I don't think that makes a lot of sense to me. I also don't think it makes sense the way that Ross is posing this is why it's going to pass. I think that's incredibly inflammatory and could lead to a lot of damage to both what he's trying to stop and to games as a whole.
Man.
To say that the government just doesn't care and this is an easy win, we're going to get it through, is disingenuous. You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar global industry. To think that the government isn't going to be meticulously looking through this and looking for flaws and holes is absurd. So I don't think that's honest at all, and I find it disgusting. So for everyone who's mad about that, fine, be angry about it.
However, I think he's right about the politicians not caring about a lot about games. Like, many of them don't understand how they work. That's just how it is. Okay, I think he overlooks this. He goes and takes a look at this from like a company perspective. When you know you have money in the mix. Yes, I agree. But I think most politicians just don't understand games. They see that there's a big market there. There's a lot of stuff happening there. A lot of money being made. However, they don't really understand what the games really do. I think that's true. His point is true there. Even though his point is shit, it's true.
I'm going to change my stance on that because I can't agree with this, both as a dev and a player. I see the danger involved, I see the vagueness in the language, and it doesn't make sense to me. If we want to fight for better conditions for players, then fight the actual problem. Don't make new ones.
Okay, yeah, I think brought a little bit more insight. I would love to see Asmongold's reaction, but my brothers. Aizen, are you here? It's Jova. I need to pick up my wife and her mom. Very long stream. I think I will take a look at the reaction of Asmongold tomorrow. Vought time? No, I think it makes no sense. I will take a look at the reaction of Asmongold tomorrow. I want to see the perspective of a gamer. And but so far I agree with a lot of stuff that Pirate Software says. It makes sense. But I do disagree with the fact that like he's talking about how when you buy a license to a game, when the company advertises it as a license to play the game, like I can only speak from a dumb gamer perspective. I never once heard a company come out and say, hey, we sell you this license to the game. No, it always is New World, out now, play for free or play on this date. You know, it's always, there's never really an advertise, never in the mix of, like there's even a distinction going on. Like, okay, I'm a dumb gamer. I should do my own research. However, I think that's misleading. No way. Trump actually went to Aiden Ross. Oh, I love this. I love this president, man. I'm not even in the United States and I just love this guy. What's going on there? I can't believe this. He just went on a stream, bro. He went on Aiden Ross's stream. I can't believe this. That's so funny. Amazing music. Yeah. That's Ares theme from Final Fantasy VII. Marketing. True. Just because they don't say it doesn't mean it's not in the TOS. Yeah, but I mean that most people don't read this TOS. And in my opinion, that's a shady practice, or that's... You could call it a dark pattern in selling games, whatever. Like, see, like, I never knew that there was a distinction between the two. I know I'm a dumb gamer, but let's say I'm speaking from the dumb gamer perspective, which is the majority of dumb gamers. Or the majority of gamers are the dumb gamers. No one is gonna make that research. Like, very little people are gonna watch YouTube videos on it, and even fewer people are gonna read the TOS. Come on. Anyways, yeah, sorry, a very wild day today, but I have a good news. Guys, I have good news. Today was the first day where Zoe, my baby, 4 weeks old, took a bath for the first time. That's why I was so late initially, because we had to wait for the sister. I don't know what like Hebamme in English is, and she enjoyed it. That was good to see. She was actually really enjoying it. She never once cried. She was putting on a smile. That was really good to see. Anyways, guys, I will see you tomorrow. We'll watch Asmongold's reaction to it, and then I'm going to like see what all of the different sides, like the development side, the middle side, and the gamer side, is saying about this. Congrats, a clean baby. Yeah, finally clean. How many Steam games do you own? You can't play anymore. We would have to take a look at this. For weeks, I wish to be the baby. Congrats, thank you, thank you. Ultimate reaction watcher. Yes, the ultimate reaction watcher. We are a reaction watcher. We are no longer a reactor. We are a reaction watcher now. True. Anyways, guys, I'm just gonna leave here. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining despite it being a very short stream. I hope you still had fun. And I'll be online tomorrow. Like always. Okay, tomorrow will be a normal day.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Okay, guys. Peace.